Mr. Secretary General, my dear good friend, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, distinguished guests, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the General Assembly, allow me to welcome you to this august hall, to this very special night, to this very special event. This chamber is in many ways the beating heart of the United Nations, the only place where all member states come together as equals to advance the global cause of peace, development, and human rights. Tonight, on the United Nations Day, we shall witness a great musical celebration by Stevie Wonder and his friends. Stevie Wonder is recognized across the globe not just for his amazing music. He is also, as the Secretary General said, a great humanitarian, social activist, and philanthropist, a man of global conscience, a true UN messenger of peace. Ladies and gentlemen, whether we are at a concert or using our earphones, we always develop a singular relationship with the artist and the music we are listening to. In my opinion, music is what feelings sound like, and feelings are always deeply personal and unique. Great music cuts across every boundary. It's a universal language, an expression of humanity through sound, an art form that touches us all, irrespective where we come from or the language we speak. I grew up in a great country that is tragically no more, Yugoslavia. It was still the era of vinyl, when people would rifle through albums at the record store and admire the cover artwork. They weren't very cheap back then, as I lived in a socialist country. So you chose your purchase with great care. It was very exciting to get the album home and to place it on a turntable to hear the rich sound of analog. Well, believe it or not, one of the first records I ever bought was Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life. It did not bother me that it was about 10 years after it was first released. It was enough just to own a Stevie Wonder recording, one that I heard so much about from my elder cousins. It wasn't an ordinary country that I lived in, I have to remind you. Recently, I listened to the album for the first time in many years. And it struck me that a line from one of the songs perfectly encapsulates, in just 7 words, the founding vision of the United Nations. This world was made for all men, Stevie Wonder sang. Ladies and gentlemen, calling for peace and understanding is a recurring theme in the music of Stevie Wonder. Time and again, the message we hear is that to work for peace, one must begin from oneself. To build a more just world, we ourselves must be more just. To build a more tolerant community, we ourselves must become more tolerant. One cannot ask of another to make sacrifices for peace if one is not ready to do the same oneself. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, peace cannot be the result of fear or imposition. It is not the desolation of the graveyards of the enemies or the eerie quiet that follows violent repression. In other words, and this is my deep conviction, peace is not merely the absence of war. True peace also requires reconciliation, which is itself based on forgiveness, repentance, and contrition. One needs to be willing to forsake vengeance and to start afresh. Such convictions permeate the lyrics found in many of Stevie Wonder's most sophisticated songs during a time when it was often easier to sing about defiance and retribution. We will not build a peaceful world by following a negative path, Martin Luther King said back in 1964. And the very same address, he spoke of the need to see that peace represents a sweeter music, a cosmic melody that is far superior to the discords of war. I believe that there can be no better message on the 67th anniversary of the UN Charter, when nations first committed themselves to saving succeeding generations from the scourge of war and practicing tolerance and living together in peace with one another. Ladies and gentlemen, on this United Nations Day, it is my hope that through the universal language of music, we may better understand the universal message of peace. As a teenager in Belgrade, sitting on the floor of my bedroom and listening to the music of Stevie Wonder and other great artists, I would have never dreamt of being part of a celebration like this, let alone having this role to address you on behalf of the world family of nations. I'm truly humbled by this experience, and I'm sure that we'll have a very special evening here. In the end, allow me to express my true, sincere, and most special appreciation to Stevie Wonder and all the friends he will be performing with tonight for offering us this unforgettable experience. Thank you very much for your attention.